Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. Happy August the 1st, and welcome to GCSE Pod's kick-off webinar for SummerPod. The stars are the limit. Yeah, I know, it's a corny name, but I thought it was fun. Why not? So this webinar is for all of you who were in year 9, but you're going into year 10, okay? If you've come here looking for motivation, direct, clear advice on prepping yourselves and your schedules for Key Stage 4, then you've come to the right place. So this live, it's all about us sharing our advice, GCSE Pod, and you sharing your experiences. And we're going to come up with a game plan for yourselves, which starting today on the right track, okay? So we're not just going to talk about your mindset at school, okay? This isn't just, an educational webinar and all that kind of stuff. We're going to try and level up how you go about your day-to-day. And that's from how you see yourself, your routines, your worries, and your futures as well. So I hope you enjoy. It's going to be about an hour long, just so you know. I've got a few people asking in the chat. Due to last around an hour. If you've got any questions at any time throughout, we have got some lovely GCSE Pod peeps. Peeps is a cringe-worthy word. I don't know why I said that. People in the chat who are going to answer those questions as you go. So don't be afraid to ask questions. But yes, so what is our plan of action this evening? Okay. First up, we're going to get excited about the next 2 years. You've got 2 years ahead of you until your final GCSE results day when you open that envelope. We're going to get ready. We're going to get started by writing up some goals and what good habits we want to take into Key Stage 4, and also working out any bad habits that we're wanting to get rid of. Okay. Next up, we're going to go through the importance of structure. Okay. I know, a lot of you have already had a few weeks of your summer holidays already. After a little bit of time, you're a bit like, okay, what am I doing? What's my structure? So we're going to talk about the importance of giving yourself regular scheduled tasks which are going to set you right for September. Then we're going to put our Explorer helmets on, seeing the space theme here, anyone? And boldly go where we haven't before. So we're going to cover how beneficial and important it is to seek out the parts of your subjects that you enjoy and find interesting, okay? Then last but not least, we're going to get a little bit creative. So we're going to have a bit of a creative activity. Hope you brought any plain paper, coloured pens, pencils, whatever you want to do. We're going to make up our own vision board, our own mood board, and we're going to call it our universe. In other words, what makes us us? What are our goals, our loves, our likes, all that kind of stuff. So that is how we have got today laid out. And I'm just going to introduce myself. Some of you may have tuned in webinars that I've hosted along with Kate or Katie. But for those of you who haven't met me before, I am Merlin. I'm a learning content creator here at GCSE Pod. My job focuses on student engagement. So it's making sure that the content we release, the events we run, and the webinars like this that we stream are relevant and actually interesting for you and useful. Okay, so here's a tiny little bio about me. I love my 2 cats. I hate it when I forget about my brew and it goes cold. And my favorite subject is media. Before we get into writing our rocket goals, which is the first thing we're going to be doing, I want to get an idea about something from all of you watching. Okay, so there is a concept in crowd psychology, which I know is it sounds complicated, but it's called the bandwagon effect. Can anyone take a guess at what that might mean? Some of you may have heard the expression jumping on the bandwagon. What does that mean? Okay, I want someone hazard a guess for us. Just think about it. So if someone's jumping on the bandwagon, what are they doing? Phoebe says to go with the crowd. Hashita says to go with the majority. When a person does something and others join in, that is exactly it. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so the formal definition is the tendency people have to adopt a certain behavior, style, or attitude simply because everyone else is doing it. You're all spot on. Thomas, you've got it. Yeah, Ellie, you've got it. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that all of us have done this. So whether you've ever stopped yourself putting your hand up in class because no one else had their hand up, or maybe you've joined the back of the queue whilst actually not completely knowing what it is, but everyone else was doing it, then, you've been, what's the right term? You've been a party to the bandwagon effect. You've been under the influence of the bandwagon effect, okay? Now, this is it's this crowd mentality. It's something that we as humans, we just sometimes do. And we've all done it for varying reasons. Maybe, I don't know, you're scared. of standing out to other people, causing attention. But I think that we're all in agreement, and you don't all have to say, yes, I agree, because I know that you will all agree that it doesn't make it wrong to say if it's different to what everyone else is saying, okay? Sometimes I remember in school when I would have my hand up and I would put it down, or I would change my answer because everyone else was saying that answer, and that answer would be wrong, and the answer that I thought of would be the right one. So it's just this trying to go along with the crowd, and it's so easy to be swayed by that. So I just wanted to talk about this because we're going to be getting you to write down some goals that are really personal to you. And we would absolutely love to hear about those. So please DM them to us or email them to us. I'll give you some contact details later, but don't feel obliged to share them in the comments. Obviously, feel free to share them, but remember, the goals that we're about to write, they're yours and they're no one else's. And we don't want you comparing your goals and aims to other people's and changing them because you think it isn't right. If it's your goal, it's the right goal for you. Okay, that makes sense. We're all in agreement? Fantastic. So I want to know what your rocket goals are. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a link to our worksheet, our interactive worksheet. There we go. I've put that in the comment section for you, so you can complete this even if you haven't printed it out. So, but hang fire on the sheet. We're going to talk big dreams, okay? So how many of you have a big life goal or a dream that you want to achieve one day, and you'll do whatever it takes to get there? So I don't know, that could be a dream job, a dream holiday, or something that you want to experience or achieve. So pop it in the comments. We want to know. I want to know what sort of excites you, what motivates you, what enthuses you. What is that lifetime goal you've got? It could be, I don't know, swimming with dolphins. It could be base jumping. Oh, Julie wants to do a TED Talk. That's a really cool one. I love that. Get into Cambridge Uni. Fantastic stuff. I want to learn how to speak Spanish. Oh, sorry, you can't see the link. Let me resend that for you, everyone. Give me a second. There you go. We have got go to college and study law, go to Japan. I'd quite like to write a book one day. Fantastic. Get into Oxford, provide for my family. These are all, these are all, you can see how personal these goals are. Become an artist, a music performer. Oh, amazing, amazing stuff. So, and that's the thing, your goal, it doesn't have to be massive or over ambitious or, cool or anything like that, but it can be if you want it to be. Your goal could be that one day you want to have your own cat, okay? Or that you want to learn to drive. Or it could be on the whole of the foot. It could be that you want to go on a road trip across America, or even, I don't know, visit the moon, anything you want it to be. When I was younger, it's going to get a little bit cheesy now, a little bit personal, but when I was younger, mine was to make my own films, okay? So I really, really enjoyed writing a film, shooting it, forcing my friends to be in it. So what I did was I worked and worked, taught myself those skills that I wanted by watching YouTube videos, asking my friends to help. I went to uni and I studied film, and eventually I directed my own short film, which was shown in a festival. Okay, so the way that I achieved that goal wasn't by only focusing on the goal itself. So you might have this goal of making my own film, but that's not what you're thinking about when you're doing all these little things to work towards that. Okay, so you don't focus on the goal itself to achieve it, but you work out what you have to do every single day to move towards it, because you're not going to be able to reach that goal in a day, okay, or in a week. It's one of those goals where you work towards it and you do it day by day. So maybe I could break down that goal if my goal was to make my own films into, okay, I'm going to watch at least one YouTube video a week to learn a video making skill. Okay, I made short films and projects on whatever camera I could find and with whichever friends said yes. Okay, so it's about being that proactive, forward moving kind of thing. So we all have our own big goals, these dreams, these aspirations, but your next task, okay, is to use the sheet that you've been sent and break down your goal, okay? And we're going to look at the next 2 years specifically, okay? So your goal might not be related at all to what you're studying, but it's some steps to work towards having that mindset, having that success mindset, do you know what I mean? So we're going to look at our sheets and we're going to look forward to what you want to achieve by the end of year 11 and what you want to see on your results slips as the class of 2023. That sounds pretty cool. Is it 2023 or 2024? I think yeah, 2024. There we go, 2024, I think it is. So these are going to be our rocket goals, working out what habits you want to leave behind on Earth or in year 9, and what goals, aspirations, and habits you want to keep and move forward into the future. Okay, so get the sheet, click the link. It's an interactive work sheet, so you should be able to type straight into it. Okay, and if you don't have that sheet, then don't you worry, just grab a piece of A4 and we can make do. Okay, so first up, starting at the bottom, what bad habits do you want to leave behind in year 9? Do you feel like, I don't know, do you feel like you've not really worked as hard as you could have? Did you mess about a little bit in class? Or could it be, you know, something at home? Maybe you've been really distracted by your phone when you're trying to study because it's always at your desk. Maybe your room's always really messy. I don't know. Or maybe you're going to bed really late. So write down your answer now. Remember, as I said before, no answer is a wrong one. If it's your goal, it's the right goal. Okay. So that is the first one. What bad habits do you want to leave behind in year 9? Okay. I'll give you like 10 or so seconds. I don't want to. Someone's put procrastination in the comments, negative thinking, sleeping late, procrastination. Fantastic. You can share in the chat if you want to, but if you don't really want to, you can put it straight in your sheet. This is for you. This is something that maybe you could have on your wall in your room or something like that. Procrastination. Yeah, definitely. Leave negative thoughts behind, doing too much for a small project, not sleeping enough, feeling isolated. Okay, so that's something you can leave behind in year 9. Fantastic stuff. Okay. Next one. What good habits do you want to take into year 10? Okay. So what do you currently already do that you're proud of yourself for doing that you want to keep and move forward with? So do you have a really good work ethic? Are you good at separating your work space and your fun space? Whatever it is, make it something which is going to help you move closer to that big goal. So are you really passionate, enthusiastic? Do you always ask questions in class? Something like that. Okay. Fantastic stuff. There's some stuff still coming into the chat. That's brilliant. I want to take my work ethics to year 10, studying, working hard, be more inclusive during class. Brilliant stuff. Hey, that's a really good one, actually. Brilliant. Okay, so what good habits do you want to take into year 10? Revision and time management. Fantastic. Brilliant. Loving it. Okay, so on to the last one, which is the one at the top. So what do you want to achieve at the end of year 11? Okay, so only you know your own ability. Okay, only you know your own standard and your self-expectation. So what would you be proud to have achieved by the end of year 11? Okay, so whether that's showing up and having a crack at all your exams, achieving 5 grade 8s in your final results, or even just getting through the exam season in one piece, because I know how it is. I've been through it. I know what it's like. Remember, no goal is a bad one. Okay, it's all about personal experience. Okay, so what do you want to achieve by the end of year 11? Phoebe said getting all grade 7 or above, high marks with good work experience between 7 and 9, and not falling apart before the exams. I know that feeling, Ellie. I know what it's like. Hopefully today we can give you those good stepping stones to start off right and just smash it, which I know you will. I know you will eventually. Sometimes the thought of the exams are worse than the actual exams themselves. Okay. Sometimes the thought of actually having to prep and sit down for it is worse than how they actually are, because until we've experienced it, we don't actually know what it was like. So we could be working ourselves up for those final exams, and then when we're getting there, we're like, oh wait, actually this isn't that bad. Getting all grade 6 and above, keep my grades up and work harder during maths. Okay, pushing myself through it even though it's got hard. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so as I've said, there's no such thing as an incorrect goal. Okay, so once we've finished up our webinar today, feel free to email these worksheets to us if you want to. Okay, and remember, and I will go more into this at the end, for anyone who submits this worksheet and another piece of work that we're doing in the webinar, if you email it to us, you get entered into a draw to win an iPad, and the runners up get £15 Amazon vouchers. Okay, so what can I say? All you have to do is do this, submit a worksheet, and you get put into a draw to win an iPad. If I were you, I'd just go for it. Okay, so hopefully you've all gone through those worksheets and got something written down. So now that we have our goals, we can work towards them, or we can start working towards them this summer, okay? So I'm going to say this right now, and I think I can speak on behalf of the other two adults in the chat, but we are extremely jealous of the fact that you have 6 weeks off over the summer. And you know what? You can spend that relaxing, catching up with friends, going on holidays, and I'm sure lots of other stuff. If you've got extracurricular, like, I don't know, cadets or youth club or scouts or whatever it is. And I do not have to be a rocket scientist to know that I bet on your last day, you were all really excited to just run out of school, put your school bag in your wardrobe and forget about it all summer. Just shut the door on it, bye-bye, okay? Does this sound familiar to you? Because it might have been what I did, but who knows, okay? So the only thing that I looked forward to, so this is, again, I'm just going from personal experience, and a lot of you probably feel similar, but I was very, very much looking forward to spending the summer doing very little. And for the first few weeks of a particular summer, I remember when I was in high school, that's exactly what I did. Okay, so played out with friends, maybe going on the odd family camping trip. But after a few weeks, I felt a lack of satisfaction. And then I don't know about you, but I started feeling a little bit bored, even after a week or so, I don't know. And you can see here, this may or may not have been what I to be honest, with the TikTok, I didn't have TikTok when I was in school. That makes me sound ancient. But I cannot even imagine how difficult it is to have to battle with TikTok when you need to do studying. But anyway, so yeah, but after a little while, you just feel a little bit bored and a little bit like, oh, well, what do I do now? There's only so much sleeping in and, I don't know, junk food and video games you can play, and then you're just a bit like, oh, well, what else is there? Now, this experience won't be completely universal, but there was actually a study done by Vodafone, the phone company, last year, and they revealed that school students will claim they are bored an average of 4 times a day during the summer, okay? That is 168 times over the average 6-week summer break, okay? Your poor parents. So if we were to add all that time taken to say I'm bored over the summer, 168 times, you could have watched one of our pods in that time, which is pretty weird when you really think about it. So by the end of this particular summer that I'm thinking of, I didn't really feel like I'd accomplished anything. And I've started that new school year feeling less than satisfied, really. I even remembered saying to my friends, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but I felt like I'd forgotten how to write when I got back from the summer. I was like, I don't even know how to write. And writing felt really weird after not doing it for so long. Now, I could have changed what I was doing, but it was easy to just do nothing, as we all will probably understand what that's like, okay? So what can we do to combat this? What can we do to feel like, you know, in September, you'll go to school and you'll be like, you know what, I had a fun summer, but I also had a productive one, as well as potentially preparing ourselves for the next academic year, okay? The answer to that is some form of routine, okay? Some form of healthy habit. And for those of you who don't know, okay, habits are things that we've originally done the same way over and over and over again until it becomes an established part of our day, okay? There was this study done at University College London, and they worked out that it takes 66 days for a habit to form, for a habit to be created, okay? And then to turn that specific behavior or act into an automatic action. So a habit might be something that you know that you do every day, like, I don't know, brushing your teeth. You do it every morning, you do it every evening. And it gets to the point where you don't really think about it when you're doing it. You just pick up your toothbrush and do it, okay? So if we take a step back and think about the rest of your school journey, from now you're in the summer, going into year 10 in September, and then you've got year 11. So by the end of this summer, if you were to introduce something into your day-to-day today, now, by the end of the summer, you'd be halfway to it becoming an actual habit, okay? By Thursday, the 6th of October of this year, that act is going to be well cemented as one of your habits, okay? And then if you think about exam season 2023, well, you wouldn't even be thinking about it. It would just happen, okay? So what I want you to do now is think of one productive thing that you could introduce as a healthy habit. Now, this doesn't need to be school related, okay? All we're doing is, if you set up good standards for structure now, and if you have a routine now, it's going to be easy for you to get into that routine in September, okay? So I'm not trying to make you, I don't know, I must, I don't know, answer 10 questions about about biology every day until like, no, we don't want you to do that. This is something that's not only going to improve your school life, but it's going to improve your personal life as well. So it could be something as simple as making your bed. That literally takes 60 seconds, doesn't it? But there it is, it's done, and your bed's nice and tidy, and you don't need to worry about it. It could also be easy if you complete that thing at the same time every day. So yeah, throw it in the chat. Is there one thing you could do that you could introduce as like a regular hobby? Because after a while, it starts to become easy. You start to do it automatically, okay? Now, as I've said, exercise more. Ellie's put exercise more. That's good. So maybe you could say, I don't know, maybe you could go for a walk around the block every day at 3 o'clock. I don't know, morning jogs, Amir, love that. I could never do that myself, but respect. Go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time, do yoga. Yeah, going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. That could be good because, you know, we all have a little bit of a lay-in, but maybe something you can introduce is like, okay, I want to get up before 10 every morning, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, as I've said before, this does not have to be school related. Okay. It's just trying to get that concept of structure and routine into your day-to-day. We are not expecting you to develop a study timetable for your summer holidays where you allot times for toilet breaks, bedtimes, eating your tea. Okay, revision. We just want you to start practicing that routine. Okay. And let us say now, the hardest part about developing a habit is starting it. So I know for a fact that all of you have had that feeling when you know you've got to start an essay, you know you've got to do a piece of homework, you know you've got to revise, and it's so painful. You're like, oh, I really don't want to do it. It feels like you're wrenching your brain into gear just to sit down and think about it. But if you think of your brain as a machine, every time you redo that habit, that gear is being used, loosened up until eventually it's just like any other cog, okay? So what is one thing that you're going to do and you're going to start working towards to develop into a habit over the summer? One routine for myself would be to balance out my work and leisure time instead of only working all the time. That's a really good one, fantastic. It's all about balance. It's all about making sure that you're not doing too much work and then you're not having too much fun, sounds bad. But yeah, balance between sort of school and home life and social life. That's a really good point. Okay, so there we go. So I hope you managed to, I don't know, pop something in the chat, and if you didn't, have a think about it. I hope you managed to fill in your rocket goals. Fantastic stuff. So we're moving on to boldly going where you haven't before, okay? So this is where you are right now. You've already picked your subjects for your GCSEs, okay? No one else had that decision to make, but you did it, and you did it on your own, okay? Even those decisions you made, so I don't know, history or geography, art or PE, that kind of thing, that shows that each of you, you're independent beings, and you were able to take into account what you enjoy, what subjects you want to explore without any outside influence, okay? So I remember when I was picking my options, okay, and I think this might have been when I was going to college. So I was looking at my A-levels, and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to study? And I remember I was leaning towards subjects I didn't really like, but that's what I thought I should have been doing, okay? And I should want to go into science and do all these really mathematical, you know, some people, that's what they want to do. But that's what I thought I should have been doing at that time. And then I had this light bulb moment where I was like, no, okay, I want to do something that I can get creative with, something a bit more vocational. So, you know, with A-levels, I did history and I did, I don't know, religious studies. But for GCSEs, I picked those ones I really enjoyed. I went with textiles and drama. And you know what? I absolutely loved it, okay? So I want to know what subjects that you've picked that you're really excited about, and I want to know in the comments, okay? So, you know, you making that decision, that's a big deal. That shows that you have that independence and you've worked towards it, okay? So I wanted to give you, you're all probably here because you want to get some specific, history, Norabel, very cool. I did history too, it was really fun. Art, someone's done art, triple science, history, fine art, hospitality and catering. I picked music and I'm super excited. Sociology, drama. I did drama GCSE, it was fantastic. History, geography, sports science. Oh, photography, Betsy, that sounds so good. Business, brilliant stuff. History, music, triple science and French. History, geography and drama. Textiles and art. art, French and Arabic. Oh, fantastic. Enterprise and marketing, Spanish. Wow, these sound, and you all sound really excited as well, because you were all commenting in there like, yes, I want to do this. Fantastic stuff. Physical education, brilliant. Our lucky guy to the person doing business. Lovely stuff. Okay, so yeah, I know that a lot of you, so SummerPod, we've released 10 videos, 9 or 10 videos by subject specialists who give you advice about specific subjects, okay? And I wanted to ask them how year 9s can prepare for year 10. So I reached out to these subject experts and I wanted to say, I said, okay, what can students do now over the summer to make a start and get headed in the right direction, okay? You've probably heard year 11 say, year 10 and year 11 goes by really fast. You need to get started prepping sooner rather than later, or it's going to fly by and you're going to be doing your GCSEs in year 11 like, oh, where did the time go? Okay. So here is what our subject experts have suggested that you can do right now. So there's a quick video playing.
I guess the challenge for year 9s going into year 10 is making sure that you're holding on to the knowledge you've already got.
Yeah, if you're going from year 9 to year 10, I think there's no time to waste. You arrive in year 10 and you need to apply yourself in the very first lesson, and you also need to manage your time well. I think you think about all the commitments you have and make a plan. So whether it be personal commitments or school commitments, then make that plan.
Get inspired, find something you're interested in that's going to motivate you. I think secondly, without creating revision timetables, because that's not what you want to be doing over the summer, but being a little bit organised with your time is helpful. So kind of decide how much time you're going to commit over the summer. And it doesn't have to be a lot. So if all you think you can manage is 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes every couple of days, but kind of make a call about how much you're prepared to commit and what's achievable.
There we go. So that was some of our really, really experienced subject specialists giving you some direct advice on what you can do over the summer. Okay. So SummerPod, what is SummerPod about? Okay. The reason we do it is to encourage summer learning, but not, sitting down and reading your specifications, not completing, not necessarily completing past papers. It's about keeping that learning sort of process alive and preventing that learning loss. Because one thing that another subject specialist told me about was a concept called summer learning loss. It's when you don't touch any of that study that you've, spent months and months doing, and then you lose 2 or 3 weeks worth of knowledge just because of the fact that you've not revisited it. Okay. So we don't expect you to be making timetables every day and be completing an hour a night. We don't want to stop you doing that, but only you know your own ability. We don't expect you to do that. Okay. So at the very least, I'm going to set you all a challenge of exploring your subjects. Okay, so, there's going to be a subject that you're going to do, that you're going to have to do, that you're not really going to, you don't get that spark out of it. So some of you looked really excited, like business. Okay, fantastic business. But I want you to put your advertiser heads on and your hats on and find a subject and do a research task on it. Okay, so I want you to find an aspect of a subject that you love and enjoy. Okay, so let's say that you're trying to get people to sign up to study a subject. This is the headspace I want you in. Okay, what is an interesting fact, theory, quote, or a bit of information that you would use as a hook, okay, to grab people into that subject? So for example, physics. Okay, this is mine. This was my least favorite subject at school. I'm not even going to lie to you. I may have cried during the exam. We'll just leave that there. So physics was my least favorite subject, but a part of physics, space, I absolutely loved. Okay, and I teach space to air cadets today. Okay, I really, really enjoy it. So if I was going to try and encourage someone to study it, I'd want it to sound really interesting. And the fact that I would pick is that in 1969, when human beings landed on the moon for the first time, when they arrived, they had 5% of their fuel tank left. So Neil Armstrong, legend that he is, he literally had 60 seconds to land on the moon's surface, okay? And because of that, he didn't land at the site that they originally intended, okay? So if he'd have been any slower landing, history might have looked very, very different, okay? So that is a fact that I think is fascinating. It's a piece of physics learning that's something that I can get engaged in. So there's an interesting fact about content that will be covered in physics. Okay, so I want you all to do that now. You've got the internet at your fingertips. You've probably all got some cool facts hidden in your brain somewhere. So try and sell your subject, okay? You're on Dragon's Den, the Dragon's Den of GCSEs. What interesting fact would you use to sell your subject, okay? Get them in the chat if you can, okay? I really want to know. I want to see what Dragon's Den sorcery you can all pull, okay? How can you make physical education, you know, sound fascinating and fun, and how can you make it engaging for everyone, not just for you, okay? What else have we got? French and Arabic, enterprise and marketing, art and drama. Okay, so someone has put for drama, okay, the longest continuous dramatic performance was called The Bald Soprano. Epic name, fantastic name. We love that. That's probably going to take you a few minutes to do. But this is something, you know, you don't always have to post it in the chat if you don't want to. Oh, the French language wasn't widely used across France until after the French Revolution. So someone's put, for MFL, you are more likely to be employed if you're able to speak another language. There we go. So instantly that is something, oh, wow, well, I should really study MFL then, because that's going to make me more employable. So business, Thomas has put, in exchange for Pepsi's soft drinks, the Soviets offered them a veritable navy. Pepsi agreed to the deal, taking possession. Woo! See, I had no idea. Fine art. Art used to be an Olympic event. The Mona Lisa has her own mailbox in the Louvre because of all the love letters she receives. The color wheel predates the United States. See, how cool are all these? I love these. We could just do this all night. I just want to hear some cool facts from you all. 25% of your bones are located in your feet. Who knew? Okay. So you can see what I mean with that activity, right? You're going to find a piece of your subject which is going to hook people in. The history, David Lloyd George was one of the big three. Fantastic stuff, Norabelle. The longest painting by an individual is 5,310 meters. I didn't do that, I can do that. Sherlock Holmes is the most portrayed character in film history. Between the 1890s and the 1920s, films had no sound and they were called silent movies. Brilliant stuff. I didn't know if this is interesting, but the largest bone in the human body is the femur. I think that's cool. I think that's interesting. The Spinosaurus could have been an aquatic dinosaur, making it the most dangerous predator to ever live. Once Napoleon was attacked by a horde of bunnies. All right, I'm taking that away. I'm gonna nick that one off you, Lana. That's amazing. Okay, so you can see what I mean here by making that subject interesting. So moving on. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that you're going to enjoy every single lesson you taught in years 10 or 11, okay? You've got to find those little nuggets of interesting facts or content that's going to drive you forward through the next, 2 academic years. You've got to find those little tidbits that really keep you going. No one enjoys the qualification of study or the job that they have 100% of the time, but we get through it by finding those little diamonds amongst the coal, and not everyone's diamonds look the same, okay? So, moving on. So far in this webinar, we've managed to write up our very own rocket goals. We've discussed the importance of routine and the importance of finding parts of a subject that you really enjoy and find fascinating. But there's one thing that you need as well as all of this to actually get stuff done, and that is the motivation to do it, okay? It's the drive. So if we don't have that, we can't lift off, we can't begin our journey towards GCSE results day. But once you, one thing that can help you not only remain focused on your goals, but also keep your aim in your mind is the process of visualization, okay? Now, I'm sure you all recognize Jim Carrey, absolute legend. Bruce Almighty is one of my favorite films. But here is a video of him talking about him visualizing his goals and how that helped him.
Somewhere inside yourself that you were destined to be famous, because I think it's really a marvelous thing, that visualization thing you did. Do you all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as...
Yeah, I would visualize,
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work or whatever that is. And I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85?
Yeah.
And
I had nothing at that time, so it was like, but it just made me feel better. It made me, at that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things, and they're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there.
Okay, so you would get this from what, self-help books or whatever?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
self-help section.
Self-help section.
They've renamed it the Jim Carrey wing.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that
Yeah.
you did. Is that
I
true?
wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
Yeah.
So you visualize yourself like... Visualization works if you work hard.
So there we go. That's Jim Carrey talking about the fact that, when before he got big, he used to drive around and be like, I'm going to be famous. Dumb and Dumber, what a movie. Yes, true, what a movie. Bruce Almighty will always be my favorite though. But anyway, so I know that Jim Carrey is a whole world away from all of us, right? Okay. And he probably had a lot of help, support, and maybe a little bit of privilege to get to that point where he was able to cash that check. But that doesn't mean the principle of visualization should be seen as like this fad or this abstract concept. So we don't visualize goals in order to just manifest them into existence. So if I just sit here and think, okay, I'm going to visualize that a cup of coffee is going to appear on my desk, okay? We don't expect it to just appear. We visualize goals in order to prepare and orientate ourselves towards that goal, okay? So you could call this your inner GPS, all right? You're molding your life towards that goal, okay? So there's a part of your brain called the RAS, okay? The reticular activating system. And this is basically a filter. So every single bit of information that your brain takes in through all 5 senses, so every single thing, and imagine how much information that is. This RAS, it filters it, so it decides what we will process and take notice of and what we will disregard. So if we have a goal or a passion that we want to achieve and we want to pursue, we want to be taking in bits of information that will channel us towards that, okay? So if we think of visualizing our goals and closing our eyes and thinking of the reasons that we want to achieve them, our reticular activating system, that filter, is going to notice more things in life that's going to move us forward closer to that goal, okay? So the only way that we can do this is by visualizing it, okay? And building up a vision board, okay? It sounds corny, vision board, there we go, but please see this, it's genuinely helpful. It's a wholesome, it's a positive process. Think about, your life, your love, your likes, your goals. Think of it as a universe, okay? So what we're going to do now is we are going to think and imagine a universe. So close your eyes. I mean, I can't see you right now, so if you don't close your eyes, I won't know. But let's visualize a universe, okay? Imagine hundreds of thousands of stars dotted around, bright planets with gas rings wrapped around them, dark, cold moons, powerful pulling black holes, grassy planetoids, okay? The complexity of the universe. Now, this universe is you. This is how complex and fantastic we all are as human beings, okay? I love how corny I sound right now. I'll live for it, okay? We have a universe worth of stuff inside our heads, and that's what we like, what we dislike, our favorite subject, what makes us laugh, our favorite movie, my favorite food. And what I want to know is, what does our universe look like? Or what does your universe look like? That's what I want to know. So you received an email today where we reminded you to make sure that you had a piece of paper, some pens, some color pens if you want to. I want you to create your own vision board, okay? So yeah, I want you to just to make something that shows who you are, what you work towards, what you strive for, who you are as a person, okay? And we can make it work like it's a universe. So you could draw 5 space-related items. So you could copy what's on the screen here, whether it's a planet or a moon, a satellite, and on that item, I want you to write 1 word to describe yourself, okay? And you can decorate it however you want to decorate it. Obviously, we won't have time to do that all together this evening, but remember, you've got the entirety of SummerPod to submit these so that you get entered into the draw to win an iPad. I wish I could enter into it, but that probably wouldn't be fair. But then as well as these words, these 5 words that describe who you are, I want you to decorate this universe with everything about you. Maybe we could have an inspirational quote in the middle that's your favorite thing, or you could have your pet cat floating around. You could have your prefect badge orbiting a star, anything you want to do, okay? This vision board, you're going to have it on your wall next to your rocket goals, and every time you look at it, you want to feel motivated and encouraged to move towards your goals, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the webinar, okay? I want you to make a start on these worksheets, okay? Sharifa, so what's a vision board? I mean, vision board is basically a posh way to say, we're going to make a little piece of paper, you're going to draw 5 planets on it, and on each planet, you're going to write a word to describe yourself, a positive word, you know, something that you'd want someone to describe you as. And you're also going to draw on this your goals, your aspirations, your favorite things, your favorite movies, your pets. Like, this sheet of paper is going to be what you will have on your wall, and whenever you look at it, it's going to make you feel, okay, that's why I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this for my pet cat, because that's what would be in mine. Okay, so I'm doing this for this, and have like a motivational quote in the middle of it. Okay, so this is what I want you to do now. You're going to have 5 or so minutes, maybe a little bit less, to make a start on it. Okay, because I'm looking at the time, it's 5 to 6. Make a start on it. In fact, why don't we try before the end of the webinar? Why don't some of you put a word in the comments that describes who you are? Maybe 5 words if you can think of them. But I would love to hear, before we finish today, at least one lovely positive word for you to describe yourself. What will one of your planets have on it? Okay, I want to know. So we've got successful in the comments already. Fantastic. Hardworking. We've got ginger. Yes. Writing genius. Elliot, I love this. I love it. Fantastic. Okay. So, for example, let me think about what I would have. Oh, creative, funny, hardworking, friendly, honest. Betsy, they're lovely words. So that would be one. Each of those would be on a planet. My planets will have lots of supernatural stuff. What, like the show Supernatural? Fantastic. Love it. Creative, successful, and hardworking. Resilient. Brilliant word, Amir. Resilient, that's a really good one. Stranger Things. Don't even get me started. I could organize a whole webinar on how much I love Stranger Things. Just one planet dedicated to Eddie Munson. That's it. Ecstatic. Oh yeah, Mohammed. I love that one. Okay. So that is your sort of, I mean, I don't want to call it homework because no one wants homework from a webinar, but I want you to create your universe on this piece of A4 paper. So 5 planets, 5 words. You know, we can have Star Wars on it, Stranger Things on it, your pet on it, these words on it, okay? Norabelle, don't pull me into a Stranger Things conversation because this webinar is going to go way off track. I'm still not over ready. Okay, so fantastic. I mean, you've got your pens and pencils and stuff with you. So after this webinar's done, you could even have a crack at it tonight if you want to. But remember, submit this, and if it's, you know, we'll pick one, and if you win, iPad, or runners up will get £15 Amazon vouchers. Okay, so we've made a start on it. We've thought of our words. What words are there? Okay, so in terms of how to enter, okay, we've got another one: sporty, happy, kind, honest. Okay, so in terms of how to submit it, there'll be an email on the slides at the end of this presentation. You will email a picture of your sheet and of your worksheet to that email address, okay? Or if it's easier for you, you could DM it to the Instagram or the Facebook or the Twitter, whatever social media you have. Just make sure you send those over to us. So that is how you would enter yourself into the draw to win an iPad, okay? Oh, exciting stuff. Okay, so we're gonna round off now. And yeah, I'm just going to say thank you. Okay. This has been, I've had loads of fun. Okay. I've had loads and loads and loads of fun. And you know what? Hearing those words to describe yourself were just really, a really nice way to sort of round things off. So let's have a look. We have reached the end. I'm sad. I just want to carry on talking about Stranger Things, if I'm honest. I think the only thing that we have left to say is thank you. Thank you for being engaging. Thank you for being creative and positive. I really hope that this webinar's been helpful for you to get that spark of motivation, to just shake things up over the summer, to get you on your way to reach for the stars. Again, cheesy, but I'm not going to apologize. All right, I'm going to head off now, but thank you to everyone who stuck around. Oh, I'm so glad I've got you guys started and got you guys excited for September, getting that summer routine sorted. But yeah, I'm going to tune out now. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And I will see you on the 8th. If you're in, well, I mean, if you're in this one, you won't be on the 8th, but we've got so much more bits and bats going on during SummerPod. So I'm sure we'll see each other again one day. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.